Hey guys, welcome to this week's track guide. This week we're at VIR Grand West, an interesting track to say the least, especially as now I've got my new rig, my new SimLab P1-X built and all set up. I'm still very much getting used to it at the moment, so hopefully I've set some sort of a reasonable lap time to show you guys. As ever guys, if this video does help you out, please remember to smash the like button and subscribe to the YouTube channel. I do stream 5 days a week over on Twitch as well, link up here somewhere and link in the description. And the B-lap, O-lap and setup files from this lap will be on my Discord, so if you want to jump on, there's an invite link down in the description for that as well. On to the weather and the setup then. Date and time is set to what the official sessions are going to be set to next week. Track is currently 36 degrees. As for the setup, the anti-roll bar set to 8, brake bar is 54, tyre pressures minimum. SPO this week though, I've currently set to a 0, and I set this lap time using a 0. It is very likely to change this week though, just because I am not convinced that it's the fastest setup to be using. I may go to a 1, a +1 or a +2 and try that out throughout the week, see how it goes. But you know this setup works, so if you guys want to use this, then go ahead. But keep an eye on the description down below and on my Discord, because if I do change it and do find a faster setup, then I will update it as the week goes on. On to the guide then. The lap I'm going to show you is a 2:53.941. My optimal lap, though, was a 2:53.5. So there's another 4/10 to be found somewhere. I couldn't quite put that lap together or get anywhere close to it. I'm sure I need some more practice in this new rig first before I start getting consistent lap times like that. But these are the sort of lap times you should be aiming for this week, sort of in the 53s, maybe in the 54s. Okay, here we are then, about to cross the start-finish line. Just make sure we're on the right lap. Keep the car to the right-hand side, sort of middle of the track, and then bring the car over to the left-hand side for turn 1. Coming up to turn 1, I'm looking at the 3 board and the 2 board. I'm sort of braking just past the 3, sort of in the middle between 3 and 2. From 5th all the way down the 2nd gear, keeping a sort of 70% sort of brake pressure there. Turning into the corner, feathering the throttle. We want to try and keep it to the inside. You can see the car here is sort of mid-track. You don't really want to be going any wider than this. You can go wider, you'll just gain time back, but this is about as wide. You can see the dark bit of tarmac here where the racing line is. Just try to keep on that all the way around this corner. Once we're back to 100% throttle, flat all the way around here, up into 3rd, and then up into 4th as well. Still flat. Let the car drift to the right hand side of the track. And as soon as you go around this corner, you sort of get to the middle of the track, and then that's where you want to brake, and then you're down to 3rd gear. As you can see, I've got quite a lot of room on this right hand side. You will get a faster entry through this corner if you run wider. I don't particularly like to run wider though, because there's a chance of hitting this grass, and when you hit this grass, you're in this green barrier over here, and that's race over with. So just be a little bit careful with that. Down to 3rd gear then. I don't really take much curb on this lap. You can really eat this curb and take a lot more of it, but it is what it is. Try to take as much curb as you can. Let the car run to the right hand side. Straighten the car up, and as soon as you get to this these little tyre marks on the track here, hit the brakes and down the 2nd. Turn the car in. Again, same thing as the previous corner. You can eat a lot more of this curb than I have here, and I normally do on previous laps. But it is what it is. I also try to go a little bit slower through this corner, so it opens up this next corner a little bit more. You tend to run too fast in this corner. You tend to go too wide here, which means you don't get a good entry into this corner. As you can see, as soon as I'm off the curb, and then I'm back to 100% throttle here, and then I pinned it 100% all the way. Some people like to shift up early in the third gear there. I don't. I like to keep it in second and shift up the third down here. Up in the third. Keep the throttle pinned into the S's. 100% all the way. Do not lift through here. No need to. Just keep it at 100% up in the fourth. Down into this straight. Coming up to the next set of S's then, it is still 100%, we're up to 5th gear. On colder tyres, this last S down here may be a little bit of a lift, but it is really 100% throttle all the way. Keep the throttle pinned. Hit the curb there, hit the right curb, hit the left curb, hit the right curb again, although I kind of missed it there. Keep the car on this right hand side of the track. Okay. Coming up to this next corner, to me this is quite the first tricky corner of the lap. We're not going to touch the brakes. When you're on cold tyres, maybe you want a little bit of brake, but not very much at all. You just want to lift down the 4th gear. As you can see, it's quite a big lift. Lift down the 4th gear. Very early turn in, and then as soon as you can, back to 100% throttle again, letting the car drift to the right hand side. You'll see it on the hot lap at the end of this guide. You can see it's a very early lift, very early turn in, and then back on the throttle really early with no brakes. It is very tempting to touch the brakes from there, and as I said, sometimes on cold tyres it's easier to touch the brakes, but try not to. Okay, coming up into the double right-hander. Back to chase. We're up in the 4th gear. I'm braking. I'm looking at this 2-board. As soon as we hit the 2-board, that's the brake marker. Although I'm not using very much braking here. It's the downshift of the gears that really helps. You want to carry as much speed into this corner, obviously without spinning out as you can. So, 4th gear, down the 3rd. So late downshift into 2nd. We get a little bit of the throttle around here. A little bit of the throttle to push us towards the outside of this corner. And then down into 1st. All while, so it's one big right hand turn, really. Let the car clip the inside of that and then you're away. It's very important to get a good exit out of this 2nd corner because of this long straight going down here. As you can see, it's basically one big right-hand turn. All the way through. 3rd, 2nd. Blip of the throttle to push us towards the outside of the track. Down into 1st. Still turning right. Avoid the tyres, clip the curb. Let the car run to the left-hand side and away we are down the straight. It's quite a tricky corner to get right. But once you get it right, it's quite easy to keep doing then. You just need to practice the line through there. Okay, now we're into the trickiest part of the lap. The first hairpin. Oh, is this the first hairpin? I don't know. Close enough. I'm looking at this 4-board. Just as we go past it, I'm on the brakes. I'm only hitting about 60% throttle here, but it's quite a hard braking zone. You can leave it a little bit later and brake a bit harder. Quite a heavy braking zone though, so keep the car in a straight line. I do like to brake quite deep into this corner to try and get a better exit. As you can see, I'm down in the 1st gear before I've even started turning, and I'm quite wide here on the entry because you want this really late apex. As you can quite see here on this hairpin, the corner tightens up here. You do not want to be on the inside of this. You don't want to be on the inside of this corner going around here. Keep it to the outside, and then very late apex when the corner starts to tighten up. Feather the throttle until you feel confident to put it back to 100% again. Up in the 2nd, bring the car to the right hand side of the track. Hit this left hand curb. And we're into the first of the tricky S's. Fourth gear here. Looking at the two board, as you can see, I'm braking just before it. We're going to go down into third gear. We're going to keep it in third through the first bit. As you see, I'm really wide here. This is one of my mistakes on this lap, which probably cost me a lot of time. You really want to be hitting this curb. From this angle, it doesn't look too bad though. But when you look at the cockpit, it is absolutely blind. You just have to turn in and hope the corner is there at the right time that you turn in. It's very tricky. The first couple of laps of practice you do on this track, guys, you are going to come down here, you're going to brake, and you're just going to go straight on. You're going to miss this corner completely. It must have taken me about 10 laps to even get this corner remotely close to being reasonable. Very tricky, and takes a lot of practice, but keep at it. Okay, down to the third gear, turning in. You really want to eat this curb, but as you can see, I'm miles off. Back to 100% throttle, just for a little split second. Lift off the throttle, down the second before you hit this corner. Really eat this curb. On the brakes and down the first. Should we have a look at that again? Okay, let's slow it right down. In the fourth, hit the two board, down the third. You turn in early in the blind corner. You hope the corner's there when you turn in. Still in third gear. As soon as we're around this corner, we're looking at this corner. We really want to eat this curb here. We're going to drop the car down into second gear. Eat as much curb as we possibly can. Looking at this next corner, back on the throttle a little bit. On the brakes and down the first. Really tricky corner to get right, guys. Really tricky. It's just going to take a lot of practice, but hopefully this will show you the right line through the corner. This is a sort of a hairpin. You keep it in first gear all the way around until you feel confident enough to get back to 100% throttle. Leave the car drift to the right hand side of the track. And we're up to the next set of S's. Another really tricky corner that's really, really hard to get right. What we're going to do, we're going to keep it in third gear. All you need to worry about from this corner for the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 corners, you're just going to keep it in third gear. You don't need to worry about gears, just worry about braking, brake markers, and where you're turning in. Just keep it in third gear all the way through here. So hopefully that will make your life a bit easier. So, third gear. It may want to go up to fourth here. Do not switch it up to fourth, just keep it in third. Car in sort of the middle of the track. I don't like to be too wide. Looking at this first apex. As we hit the first apex, I'm on the brakes just a little bit. Eat this curb. Back to 100% throttle. Really attack this curb. Really abuse it. As you say, I'm basically still I'm a little bit of a lift. The throttle down to about 80%. But you really want to be on the throttle as much as you can. Little bit as we go lift as we go across that curve, and then I'm back to 100%. It is flat out all the way around. Keep it as tight to the inside as you can. Still in third gear. All the way through. At this point, at this very point here, the car is going to want to go up to fourth gear. The car is going to be screaming at you. But keep it in third gear because of this next corner. If you go the fourth and then you'll have to go back down the third again, you will lose time. So as I said, just keep it in third. Little bit of a half lift through this corner. Keep it tight to the inside, in third. As you're through this corner, then you can go up to fourth. 100% throttle all the way through. Touch this right down curb. Touch the left down curb. As we're coming up to the next braking zone. The brake marker is the end of this piece of curbing here. So we're 100% throttle. Pinned. Looking at the end of the curb. Hitting the brakes down from fourth gear into second gear. Nice bit of braking. Keep it tight. Second gear all the way around. Back to 100% throttle as soon as you can. Tight to the left hand side. Let the car drift to the right hand side of the track. Up into third gear. And then I go up into fourth gear here. For this next corner, I like to keep it in fourth. Some people like to drop the third and then go back up the fourth again. I find it a lot easier and quicker just to keep it in fourth gear all the way through. So up in the fourth gear, early turning, again cutting this curb here. Hopefully you guys are starting to see by now while we're using a 0 SPO. If you use a high or a low SPO this week, or use a high SPO which makes the car lower, you will get damaged front wings. So bear that in mind. But as I said at the start of the track guide, I may change the setup up a little bit this week. So as we come into this corner, up into fourth, attack this curb, little bit of a lift as we're through here, then we touch the brakes, just a little bit, attack the right hand curb, let the car drift to the left, be very careful here. We did this corner last season, and the amount of times people touch this grass here, and then we're in this tyre barrier over here, or just rode along the grass, was a ridiculous number, so just be very careful. It's a very fast corner. And it's very easy to go out wide and onto this grass. And as soon as you're on the grass, you're dead. So just be careful of that. Bring the car back to the right hand side. Keep it to the right hand side of the track. Cross the white lines here. And we go across the finish line. So guys, there is this week's track guide done. Again, if it has helped you out, please remember to hit the like button. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, please remember to subscribe too. Hot lap coming next, if that's all you guys want to watch. Again, hopefully it will help you out. I don't think I've got anything else to say, guys. So happy racing. Any comments, please leave them in the comments down below. Any questions, I'll be glad to help out, and I'll see you on the track.
2.92. Go like hell for a couple, bud. Go like hell. 3.94.